Think of a task you do regularly. Maybe working on a business, studying, exercising, doesn't really matter. How long does it usually take? 20 minutes, an hour, 4 hours maybe? Guess what? You're lying to me right now and it's costing you hours every single week. And you can get way more done way faster by using my ICT framework. To explain why it's a lie and how to use my ICT framework to get way more done way faster, I need to give you some quick biology 101. Trust me, it'll make sense. Humans survived for 300,000 years because of one advantage. We're social creatures. We thrive in groups. Back in the day, I'm talking Ooga Booga times, if you pair me up with a lion, who would you think would win? I'd like to believe in myself, but I'm probably cooked. It doesn't matter how good my spear is, or how loud I scream, or if I have all the wrestling skills of all Dagestanis combined, if that lion gets to me, it's Jover. But if you pair me up with 20 of my homeboys who all got spears, strategize and work together, well, now the odds flip in our favor. That's why we made it this far. Survival depended on being influenced by each other. Someone shows you how to hunt and you copy their technique, or someone warns you about danger and you avoid it. Someone finds poisonous berries and you never touch them again. Your survival required you to let other people shape your behavior. Because of this, we evolved to be extremely easy to influence. So easy that we don't even notice it happening. It became like a hardwired instinct. And it's that same instinct that kept us alive back in the day that's now quietly controlling how productive you are today. The reason why you said how long it was going to take is a lie is because you probably got anchored. Anchoring is when you get influenced by the first piece of information you hear. A number, a timeline, a price point, etc. And that information becomes a reference point your brain can't ignore. Even if it's completely random or irrelevant, your brain still gets glued to it, just like back in the Ooga Booga times. This is a big problem, because this creates like an artificial ceiling that you didn't even choose yourself. Sometimes you notice it like when you're consciously applying a technique that you've learned, but most of the time you don't really notice it. For example, when all your favorite bodybuilders mention that their workout takes 90 minutes and now yours feels incomplete if it's shorter. Or when your favorite business YouTuber says that they can only do 4 hours of deep work a day and now suddenly that becomes your limit too. Even though you never tested if you can actually push past 4. Or the opposite, when you hear a podcast of like a successful entrepreneur talking about his 12-hour workday, and now suddenly you feel unproductive working 6. Or when you enroll in like a 12-week online course and automatically plan for 12 weeks. Even though you could actually finish it in 6 if you actually push the pace. Anchoring happens and influences us every day, but unless we consciously notice it, we'll forever get stuck on the first anchor that we've heard. You can probably get way more done in 1 week than others do in 1 month. But because you have gathered information from people that did it in 1 month, your brain uses that information/time frame as a reference point and bases your actions around it. But it doesn't have to be this way. By the way, if you need any more help to become a more productive person, whether that be a more productive entrepreneur or student or artist, etc., doesn't matter, just send me a DM on Instagram or ping me on my Discord server. I react to all messages, so ask anything you want, I'd love to help. Anyway, back to the ICT framework. Now that you know how anchoring works, you can flip it in your favor. Instead of being limited by other people's anchors, you can deliberately set your own anchors first. And we do this with the ICT framework. First, we gotta identify the anchors that are currently controlling you. List out the tasks that you do regularly and want to get done faster. Next to each one, write down how long you think that task takes. Now ask yourself, which of these tasks are fully in my control? For example, writing a video script is completely in my control. I choose exactly how, where, and what I write for my videos. But cooking isn't fully in my control. Sure, the prepping and cutting are partially in my control, but how long it takes until the steak or the chicken gets fully cooked through isn't in my control. That's just physics. Yes, science! Remove any task that isn't fully in your control. There's no point in trying to optimize that. Now we're going to start cutting your anchors. For every remaining task, deliberately set a new anchor, one that's ambitious but achievable. So take your current anchor, cut it by maybe 30 to 50% and set that as your new anchor before you start. Now you might be thinking, there's no way that I can hit those numbers. And you're right, as a matter of fact, you'll probably fail the very first few times. Why? Well, your brain is still operating on that old anchor. It doesn't automatically update your actions just because you wrote down a new number. In fact, it goes more into like a shock-like state because it's not used to this pressure. But here's the thing though, your brain is flexible. Your brain will work to fill with whatever time anchor you give it. If you give yourself 4 hours for a task, your brain budgets your energy and focus to fill those 4 hours. It basically paces you relatively. But when you set a 1 hour anchor, your brain shifts into a different mode. It will try to focus way more intensely, will prioritize better, it'll be less perfectionistic because you have too little time, and it'll force efficiency. At first, this will feel exhausting. You might even feel burnt out. But eventually, your brain adapts. You might not hit the 40% mark right away, but slowly but surely you'll get used to maybe like 20%. Then you start to get comfortable by maybe 35%. Then before you know it, your brain naturally starts to operate at that 40%. It's like progressive overload, but instead for your biceps, it's for your brain. Every time you attempt a task with your new anchor, track everything. While analyzing this data once every 2 weeks, look for these 2 trends. Did your productivity with manageable stress, because you'll guaranteed get stressed, trust me, increase when cutting your anchor? If so, keep going. You can keep this anchor or maybe even cut it more. Did your productivity not increase, or worse, did your stress burn you out? If so, you have these 3 options. 1. Find a new approach. Optimize your environment, improve your systems, adjust your nutrition, eliminate more distractions. Usually you haven't hit your limit, you just need better conditions. 2. Cut your anchor less drastically and experiment again. And 3. Accept that this is your current ceiling, because honestly, you can only optimize so much. Most people will think that they're at option C, but usually it's either option A or option B. Usually you haven't hit your limit yet, and you're actually being held back by either self-limiting beliefs or poor conditions. Now you know that tasks usually take so long because of an anchor someone else placed in your head, and that you can push far past it. One technique I use to focus more efficiently on those tasks is the quantification method. You can learn more about this technique by clicking this video right here. Thank you, join the Discord, link in bio, see ya.